Right, perfect. So we will go through this. This is actually our second method solves of the year and our second last one of the year. So that's going to be pretty exciting. What is method solves? Just to let you guys know what it's about. It is real solutions from partners to partners. We often hear method can solve pretty much anything, but what does that mean? How does it look like? To what industry? All of that type of stuff is what we're trying to uncover month over month. We are sticking with the MWD space this month as well. Next slide. We are sticking with the MWD space for this month as well. It is a huge industry, of course, with so many bottlenecks. And it actually happens to be one of our best industries just because of how much we're able to solution for their bottlenecks. Last month, we heard from Anthony, who allowed his clients to ditch their spreadsheets after they relied on it over 30. And this time, we're going to see how our partner gave time back to his clients due to the solutions that he had created. Just to let you guys know, some of the common traits in this industry, not specific to this client, but just like some of the bottlenecks that they go through is multiple steps of production are needed. So they need to fill in a lot of orders in different places. Usually they have a high order volume, tight deadlines, multiple systems are involved, and sometimes they even deal with complex tax rules. These are just like some of the common traits. Due to that, they do have a bottleneck, which is heavy reliance on QuickBooks Desktop. It ends up crashing, things happen, manual tax calculation. When we hear manual, we know errors are happening. Disconnected tools, they have to do multiple data entry in multiple different systems just because of the nature of the game. All right, so for our partner spotlight for this month, we're going to go with Marwan Dejani, aka our world's best customizer. He's helped JP Cook with those type of bottlenecks we're talking about. I'll let him, of course, go through the stories and some of the things that he's able to accomplish, but just know that his client was able to save hours and actually chat with their kids, spend time with family and stuff like that due to his solution. But yes, I will stop sharing here. And Marwan, you can take the floor.
All right, thanks, Amy. So I'm going to introduce myself, which usually comes as a joke. So a lot of people have heard that joke a lot of times. My name is Marwan, often confused with moron, but Marwan is the way you say it. And I am the founder of Edit Team Business Solutions. I worked at Method. A lot of you know me. I used to work at Method for about 7 years, I think. And I was a lead consultant there, and then I became a product manager. And now I work on my own. I honestly tried to move away from Method, but I don't know, it's part of my DNA now. And today on the Method Solves, I want to talk about one of my favorite clients, called JP Cook. As you can see, they've been around since 1887. And then the owners of the company right now are a bunch of siblings who are the grandchildren of the founder, right? So it's kind of crazy. I don't know how their dad convinced them to stay in the family business, who his grandfather convinced him to stay in the family business. My dad is trying to sell his business and he's like, can you just take it? And I'm like, nah. So I don't know how he did it. But yeah, so JP Cook is a very interesting company. So they started off doing office supplies, really. That's what they used to manufacture. And then they moved on, obviously, with technology in the world. And now what they do is date stampers. They manufacture like it's just the randomest business. So a lot of their customers are governments and cities and just old school offices as well. But then because of the machines that they have, they kind of expanded into other areas as well. So a lot of the things that they do now kind of look like laser cutting or CNC cutting, things like that, kind of like related to the machinery and the assets that they have in the company. But oh my God, when they came to me, what it was. So I tried to actually map it out. And you might think like, oh, this is a bias. He just mapped it out in such a way that makes it look complicated. But honestly, like I'm trying to kind of like, I tried my best to make it look as easy as possible. So they're based in Omaha, all right? Already not much there, no offense. But the way they work is that they have this big building. The office and the factory are almost the same building. Julie, who is my point of contact, she is also I think her official title is HR manager, but she's one of the siblings. And David, who is her brother, he runs the factory. So these are the two people that I talk to the most. And then there's the other two who I honestly have never talked to. But they essentially the company, their sales process kind of that's where it all starts from the office. which I think is like a floor or some sort of a section of the building. And then the way they sell is through a classic catalog that people order from, or like they phone in to the sales reps. And then the sales reps go into their QuickBooks desktop. This is a desktop icon on and QuickBooks desktop, and they enter all their sales order in there. But they also have another sales channel, which is WooCommerce, right? Their online store where people order doc tags. That, when they order in, it comes through the WooCommerce, it goes into Julie's email. And what Julie does is like literally goes through her day of entering the sales orders into QuickBooks. And just to give you an example of how many orders a day they get, just today, I'm looking at the email that came in today. They had about 45 orders just today. It's not even, what is it? It's not even 1 o'clock yet, Eastern time. So in Omaha, it's not even 12 o'clock. So in a day, they might get 100, 200 orders. So imagine she had to go create the customer in QuickBooks, add them in, all the line items. Not only that, all of the WooCommerce orders that come in are also very custom. So because it's doc tags, if a city or a clinic orders a doc tag for rabies or a vaccine or whatever, they're not ordering one or two, they're ordering like thousands, right, in one go. So it all is custom made. So accuracy is very, very, very important. And in WooCommerce, it allows them to do so. One other complication that happens is that if you are to order through their WooCommerce website, you can request to be invoiced later rather than pay on the spot. So a lot of this custom ways that happens. So today, if you just follow the arrows, you create the sales order, but this is like the kicker. Once you create the sales order, what the sales rep does is they print a manufacturing copy, a manufacturing ticket. And then they take that and they put it in a folder. And then this person from the factory, twice a day or something like that, I can't remember, she literally walks from the factory to the office, picks up the stack of tickets, goes back into the factory, and then they start working on them. And then they ship. And when they ship, she takes all those tickets that they have shipped with the tracking number on them, the weight and the shipping date, takes it back to the office where the sales rep comes and start distribute the ones that they have to go and update the sales order into an invoice and let the customer know hey, your order is shipping. So that caused a lot of problems. And the reason they came to Method and the way they found me is actually none of that. It was that they're using QuickBooks Desktop and then their file was gigabytes, right? Imagine all those orders coming in. It was crashing all the time. There was delays. It's just a total mess with their QuickBooks Desktop. So what they did is they actually hired an accountant or a bookkeeper to kind of help mitigate all those issues. And she happens to know me and she's like, hey, do you think Method could help or something that could help? And she kind of suggested, let's just move to QuickBooks Online. But how are we going to do this? How are we going to do sales orders? How are we going to do the manufacturing ticket? How is Julie going to be entering WooCommerce to QuickBooks Online? There is a connector there. Maybe we could use that. And I'm like, chill, I got you. So this is what we did now. This is now their process. Added more complexities, funny enough. But the idea now is that the sales funnel from the sales rep remains the same. But what we did is we continued and we did put them on QuickBooks Online, essentially, where all their accounting happens. And we were able to migrate that, no problem, done it a million times. But now the sales funnel from the sales rep remains the same. Catalog, the phone calls come in, and then what they do is they go into Method and they enter the sales order there. So this does not exist in QuickBooks Online. So that's one thing that Method helped mitigate. I've also created an integration between WooCommerce directly into sales order. Julie doesn't have to do anything anymore. She used to spend Thursdays and Fridays entering WooCommerce orders. So not only that, the WooCommerce customers had to wait a week before they hear back. So that automatic goes directly into sales order and all the customization. I kind of want to show you the app routine that I have built for WooCommerce and how it does. It's, as you can see, it's a lot of if conditional statements, but it all goes in here. And then once the sales order in, she can now bulk import the manufacturing tickets. They still want to do a paper trail, sure, why not? But then that action, what it does is it automatically puts it into their ShipRush account, which is something that I've put them on as well. Because one of the big problems that they had was, hey, we want to ship with UPS, USPS, whatever, but we want to ship with the cheapest option that we have or, specific need that they need. And ShipRush kind of offered that. And ShipRush has an API now where I can just call it directly from Method in the sales order, and then the sales team can decide, oh, wait, UPS is the best way to go ship. So it goes to the factory directly with all the details that they need. Now the factory doesn't need to go through stacks of tickets and papers. They just log into ShipRush, see what came in today, and they just start working on it. Once they ship it, and then that generates the tracking number, automatically updates the sales order, which notifies the sales rep or the customer directly. I've made a beautiful email template. I'll show you all that in a second. And from there, they can either pay on the portal, which gets automatically created into the sales order gets to an invoice, pay on the portal, or they actually prefer to kind of just do like wires and avoid all those fees, and they just do it. The sales rep just goes ahead and sends the invoice. And any of the WooCommerce customers that do have, the invoice me option, same thing. Everything goes into a sales order anyways, right? So they don't need to kind of like worry like, okay, which one is invoice me, which one has paid already. All of that is automatically inserted and in there. So you can imagine the hours. Like sometimes when consultants say, like, oh, 200% efficiency, what does that even mean? Like I look at this example, I'm like, I could literally calculate how much I've saved them, right? And from there, once all the invoices are done, every 2 weeks, they run their commissions automatic. Just gets sent to Julie. Here's what you owe for each sales rep. And then the sales rep can print their own reports as well. For this, just a quick shout out. For this commissions report, I actually asked Yusuf to help me with it. So from Crafting Class. So I don't know if Yusuf, if you remember, 2 years ago, you built this for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Long time ago, but yeah.
Yeah. So another thing that happens is because of the complexity of how much, like they sell to like governments and they sell for nonprofits and they sell to a lot of people. So there's a lot of tax implications that happens, which Julie felt that QuickBooks on its own is not sufficient. So she started looking for kind of like tax solutions, and Tax Cloud was the obvious solution for her, and the integration with QuickBooks Online. But the problem is everything is happening in Method, and Tax Cloud doesn't have that direct automation. And for Tax Cloud to work with the QuickBooks integration, what you had to do is you actually had to log in to QuickBooks, click the Tax Cloud button there, and then it just automatically calculates the tax, sends it back. And the rules on tax are like, there's something called a tick number or something like that. I'm Canadian, so I'm not really quite sure what they mean exactly, but some items are taxed differently in different states and in different counties. So it's just that whole complexity needed to be figured out. I'm like, don't worry, girl, I got you. So what we did is I integrated Tax Cloud API into Method as well. So now every time they create an invoice, it's also automatic, and I have checks and balances and whatnot to check whether the tax is calculated properly or not. And once Tax Cloud gives me back an item, I just insert a tax item into Method, and I set the tax in QuickBooks to none. So this way everything is accounted for and done and deal, right? And if they do any changes on the invoice, no problem, gets updated in Tax Cloud. So as you can see, like now there is no more the 3 days that Julie takes to do the WooCommerce. There is no more of printing the papers and putting them and waiting a week for the office to take them. There's no more what happened to this sales order, what happened to this work order, what happened to this ticket. Everything is online, everything is visible. Big thing that when they came to me, I was like, oh no, is that when she goes like, yeah, we have about 14 sales reps. They all have access to QuickBooks. I was like, what? And some of them are not even employees. They're like contract sales reps, right? Big no-no. So no longer access to QuickBooks. They see their own stuff inside of Method, right? We kind of control what they see. And the cool integration between ShipRush and Method is just like saving so much time. I don't want to take too much time. I just want to kind of like quickly show you some of the stuff inside of Method itself, just so you can see that I'm not lying. But here is like, for example, a sales order that comes in as a test customer. I'm trying to like keep the privacy as much as possible. So all you'll see is test stuff. But essentially, this is the ShipRush integration I put here. The sales rep knows that everything has happened once they see the tracking number, the ShipRush ID, and the package and the shipping cost, all of that comes in. The way that works is by printing the manufacturing copy. So if I print this manufacturing copy, it's going to go and send it to ShipRush. This is a test company, so if they get it, I'll let them know, don't worry. And even because in the factory, what they do is they take the copy, and the way they work is they scan it really quickly, right? And they put the packing slip and everything, and they put it in the package. So we created all of that within here. So now they can just print it directly, scan, and continue working. So there is no like stop and think like, oh, who's this customer? What is this package? Doesn't matter. Just scan, start working. So the Tax Cloud stuff. So some items, like if it comes from WooCommerce, WooCommerce has a direct integration with Tax Cloud as well. So if it comes from WooCommerce, we don't want to recalculate the tax. So I have this check for them. And this is what the WooCommerce stuff looks like. Essentially, here's one that doesn't have a tax, let's say. But if I click save, oh, right, I need to remove my tests. Forgot to do that. There you go. The tax comes in. It just happens to be 0 for this customer. But essentially, it's just automatic. And if they update it, they update it. I forgot that I was testing this, but yeah, apologize with that. But trust me that it works fine. Otherwise, they would have complained. The cool thing about ShipRush, by the way, this is more of like a technical thing. One thing is that once they kind of create and once they ship and they have the tracking number and everything ready, one challenge that you'll face, even with WooCommerce, is that how do you do this webhook like situation that as soon as the data is entered and comes in, how do I make sure that it comes to method immediately the second of, right? So the solution that I took is I'm also a partner at something called Pipedream. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. It's essentially like a connector. And what I did is I created a Pipedream workflow for them that kind of connects ShipRush to method. And essentially, I create this webhook URL so that in ShipRush, every time they scan and they ship, it automatically calls this URL direct. I don't need to code anything inside of ShipRush anymore to kind of connect to the method API. All I do is I extract the XML that ShipRush gives me, and I directly insert it inside of method using the API patches and all that good stuff. And I have some checks for WooCommerce stuff, so I can update the WooCommerce customers separately. But that kind of gives me that immediate, the second of I get a tracking number, I get an update in method right away. So if you ever thought like, how can I make this immediate? This is a good tool for you to use. Happy to answer questions on that. For WooCommerce, I don't use the webhook there. At the time, WooCommerce's webhook wasn't fully complete. I actually do a scheduled work order app routine that runs and gets all the WooCommerce orders. It's like because of the customization that happens, and there's a lot of like if else's that I need to do. It makes it a very, very long action list. But something that's you could do. And I'm doing something with Shopify right now, and I'm using the webhook, and I'm using actually the webhook to go to Pipedream into method. So it's a lot quicker rather than using your app routines that come in. I just wanted to leave you guys with a tip that you could use and think about so we could leave. And with that, actually, that's all I have to show you today. So yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys might have.
I got a question.
Hit me.
Marwan, this was enlightening. Thank you, man. This was awesome. This was very creative, and it just shows, your years of experience. This is incredible. Well, something I want to learn from you is the barcode. Was that a picking and packing functionality that was missing at a QBO that they needed to have? And that's why you have the barcode on the template?
So the barcode is because this is a manufacturing copy. This is not an official document that you could print out of QBO. It's not like the sales order itself. The sales order actually gets printed and sent to the customer. This is a manufacturing copy that does not have the prices. It does not have any tax and discounts. It just has what the item is, what needs to be sent. In that barcode, what they scan is essentially the ID of ShipRush. So when they scan it, it goes immediately opens the order inside of ShipRush, so they could go ahead and ship it. So the idea is that they print that copy once they're ready to package.
Okay.
Right? And then they scan it. They don't need to think who's the customer. Let me search them. They just scan it. ShipRush automatically opens it. They click ship. That's it.
Got it. So it has nothing to do with is there any inventory implications there?
There is, but all of that is tracked inside of ShipRush anyways. So yeah, so it's didn't have to worry about it inside of method.
Okay. You and I definitely need to talk then after this.
Of course, man. Dude, I can't believe you need to even ask.
I know. Another question, actually. The Pipedream, is there any core capability of Pipedream that Pipedream offers that other middleware integrators don't offer, such as Zapier or N8N or anything like that?
Price. Pipedream is much cheaper than the rest of those guys.
Okay.
And also because they really pay a good commission to me when I refer people to them. That's
Got it. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's all I had. Thanks, Marwan.
Of course, Habib. I see some chat questions. Hold on, let me open. This presentation was awesome, very detailed, informative. Method team, can you please email the video? Of course, Method team can answer that question. Awesome, sounds great. Method. Okay, so I guess somebody answered all of these. Cool. Anything else? Anything for me? You got the world's best here, so this is your chance.
That was a great presentation, Marwan.
Thanks, Ryan. Good to see you. I didn't know.
And I've used Marwan to help me with some of my clients, and it's been a great experience. So if anyone needs any help with a client, he's one of the ones.
Also, I've worked for Marwan in the early days. Yeah, you'll be in great hands with him.
He already has a big ego. Come on, let's bring it down. But I concur. He's great.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
I like your drawings. What do you use for the drawings here?
Honestly, I just went on Google and like found whatever fastest, icon. I typed office icon. All right, what's not licensable? Add it. That's it.
It's really nicely done. Yeah.
Thanks. All right, awesome. Okay, I'll leave you there then. And thanks, Yemi. Thanks, Selvi, for having me here. And thanks, everybody. And you can always reach me at marwan@alifteam.com or alifteam.com. That's my website.
Thank you so much, Marwan. That was really enlightening and very, very beautiful to see. I feel like this is so close to home for me just because I was part of the consulting team and I've said yes to a lot of projects just like this. So yeah, that was very beautiful. Thank you. And I just want to say, if they can track it, we can absolutely solve it. We do have a customization team and we have partners like Marwan, even Jason, Yusuf, so many of you guys even on this call that are able to solution things like this. So we'll keep it coming every month. But from your MWD client specifically, if you ever hear, we manage most of our work in spreadsheets, we do double data entry, we have too many tools that are disconnected or anything like that, as you saw, we are able to solve this. So make sure you hit us up. And I'll definitely connect you to the right partner as well. And we do have all these assets as a YouTube playlist, and we'll be adding this one to it as well. And it is part of your resources under the partner dashboard, resources, method solves. We'll also put it there, and we will send it as a recap tomorrow. And just for Marwan's details, here is his details. It will be sent to you guys in the email, so make sure you contact him, or if you do email us or Slack us, I can get you in contact with Marwan. Thank you so much for your time, Marwan.